We are GOLDIVY.
Our mission is to empower you to own and unleash your truth.
Stories of resiliency are gold, and ivy grows in hard places.
Those hard places are what create space for light to shine through.
You decide what works for your daily life and how to transform our lessons into your gold.
This is Ivy Unleashed,
a GOLDIVY production. Brooke, what do you think everyone wants more of?
Energy.
What do you think most people are hoping to come out of 2023 with?
Feel more confident, be an example for others, actually have the self-discipline to take care of themselves.
Yes, exactly. Because we hear the need for it and we want to help you get in the best shape of your life, we created Move with GOLDIVY, our virtual workout platform.
Our dream has been to create accessible, affordable, and effective workouts that you can do anytime, anywhere, designed to hold you accountable and get you the results you need.
You can pick any workout you want at any time, but if you do want a plan that alternates muscle groups and leaves your body feeling energized and strong, we have a weekly plan that you can follow to take the guesswork out.
It's easy to navigate and packed with all kinds of workouts that will help you strengthen, trim, pump up, tone, energize, de-stress, all of the things we want our body to feel. It's within Move.
Don't forget to mention the resources we offer. As a member of Move with GOLDIVY, you'll be a part of our exclusive Ivy League community, where we share our top wellness resources on things like meal planning, gut health hacks, time management, and more.
And because you listen to the Ivy Unleashed podcast, we want to offer you all of this for only $20 a month, cheaper than any monthly membership you'll find.
Not only that, you'll get a free trial week to test it out.
And if you need more incentive to start prioritizing you, here's our favorite part. Your movement matters. Each month, 10% of your membership will be donated to support the mental health of those in need.
So head on over to goldivyhealthco.com/move or find the link within the show notes of this episode and sign up today. Stop putting yourself in the back burner. Snag your spot and reap the benefits that you deserve to feel this year.
It's your time. Move for your health, move for your confidence, move for your mental clarity, move with GOLDIVY.
You all know we're always sharing our favorite items that improve our health and help us feel better. So wait until you hear about this. Nano Fit Water.
Nano Fit Water is alkaline water, which means it helps neutralize the acid in your body. It's triple filtered, which reduces unwanted chemicals and toxins. It's supercharged with nanotized oxygen, which hydrates the body at a cellular level. And it's all natural, meaning there are zero additives or artificial flavors.
My biggest reason for adding NanoFit into my routine is for the performance and recovery benefits. As a runner, a faster pace and quicker recovery is what I'm after, and this water is a game changer. I feel better before, during, and after both cardio and strength training with the added oxygen and hydration benefits.
And I'm here for the gut health and skin benefits. Alkaline water has colon cleansing properties, reduces the acid in my body, and the fact that NanoFit water is triple filtered, it's going to help with my gut health. And when my gut is on point, so is my skin.
I'm against the waste of standard plastic water bottles, but NanoFit water is in 100% eco-friendly aluminum bottles that are shipped to your door by Amazon, taking the shopping hassle out. No more water bottles taking up a ridiculous amount of space in your cart or having to carry the heavy weight into your car and home.
You're about to see NanoFit everywhere. They're in Starbucks, Kroger, hospitals, and making their way to stores near you. We're thrilled to share its health benefits with you today, so you can ship NanoFit water right to your door.
NanoFit's mission is to help you feel better, function better, and sleep better, which we all want. So head on over to nanofitwater.com to order your case. It'll ship through Amazon, and use code GOLDIVY for a discount.
Fit your lifestyle with NanoFit water. And now to this episode of the Ivy Unleashed podcast.
Welcome back to Ivy Unleashed. We are so happy you're here. We are so happy our guest is here. I've never meant that more than I do right now. Today we have a survivor with us. We have Kevin Hines here. Welcome to Ivy Unleashed, Kevin.
Hi, nice to be here with both of you. Thank you so much.
Kevin, we've listened to your podcasts. We've seen and heard your story all over our social media, all over the podcasts, other than your own that we listen to. And it's your story that brought us to tears, that drew us to you. For our listeners who aren't familiar with your story, though, Kevin, can you tell us why suicide prevention has become your life's work?
Absolutely. So I believe suicide prevention is everybody's business. And I became a part of the suicide prevention world after I attempted to take my life in a way that is 99% fatal. I leapt off the Golden Gate Bridge you see behind me. If you're watching, if you're viewing, there's a shot of the towering Golden Gate Bridge behind me right now. And I went to that bridge at 19 and I attempted to take my life because of a despair that was so great. I could no longer see straight. I could no longer feel, see, touch, or know anything besides pain. And what is the one thing you want to happen when you find yourselves in excruciating physical pain? What do you want that pain to do?
End.
Yeah,
Stop.
go away, end, right. That's physical pain. Brain pain is 300,000 times worse because so many people around you invalidate what you're going through because they cannot see it or touch it. And at 19 years of age, because of bipolar depression, which both my birth parents, as I'm adopted, had before me, I did leap off that bridge in an attempt to take my life. And I'm so grateful that I get to be here, that I get to exist, that I get to be here with the both of you. This right here is a gift. You are my gift today, not the other way around. And so every person I come into contact with now, every place I go, everything I do, I never take for granted because it all almost didn't happen. So it's safe to say I see life much differently now. And the lens in which I view existence is much more philosophical. And it's much more focused on the two natures of gratitude and resilience, because they're the two most protective factors from suicide. And as a person who's lived with chronic thoughts of suicide for the last 23 years after my attempt off the Golden Gate Bridge, but never attempted again, I'm proof positive that you can survive any and all pain that comes your way.
Yes, you are.
Thank you for walking us through that.
Mm-hmm.
We are beyond grateful. You are a gift to us. We're a gift to each other. You are the 1%, right? You just said 99% of people don't survive. Why do you think you are the 1%?
Well, when you look at the day of, and certainly when I look at the day of and I think about all the things that came into play to save my life that day, I personally believe that God saved my life that day. That's my prerogative, and there's a lot of people that see it differently, and that's fine. That's their perception and their perspective and their reality. But for me, let me break it down. The moment my hands left the rail, a woman was driving by, saw me go over the rail, called her friend in the United States Coast Guard, who happened to be manning the waters of the bridge at that moment. The only reason the Coast Guard boat arrived to my position in the water before I was to set in hypothermia and drown was because of that woman's phone call. Before the Coast Guard boat arrived, I was in fact drowning. I kept going down in the water and I couldn't get back up. And something began circling beneath me. And I thought, you got to be kidding me. I didn't die jumping off the Golden Gate Bridge, but a shark's going to eat me? Perfect. And I was physically punching this creature to try to make it go away, but it wouldn't leave from beneath me. It just kept circling faster and faster. And no longer was I wading in the water. Now I'm no longer treading in the water. I'm lying on top of my back, being kept buoyant by this creature circling beneath me, thinking that it's just a very kind shark. And it turned out, in fact, to be a sea lion that was keeping me afloat until the Coast Guard boat arrived behind me. The third thing that occurred is that when the ambulance got me to the hospital, one of the foremost back surgeons on the West Coast was not supposed to be there that day. He opted to stay to do my surgery. One of the best in the field, Dr. Jonathan Levitt. And he performed a back surgery on me then that was the first and only of its particular kind. Never been done before, never been done again. He invented it for me, saving me the ability to stand, walk, and run. It was incredible. So these three aspects, the woman who saw me go over and called the Coast Guard, the sea lion that kept me afloat and saved my life initially, and then the doctor who performed this 10.5-hour back surgery on me to replace my shattered vertebrae with titanium. This is a miracle. And I'm so blessed to get to exist. And in that blessing of existence that I now fully understand, which I didn't before, I see life differently. A lot of people who attempt and die by suicide all around the world, they're stuck like I was in a tunnel vision right before I leapt over that rail. They're stuck in a tunnel vision. All they can see, feel, hear, touch, and know is pain. What they cannot see is that past that pain comes peace, prosperity, hope, healing, and a life lived in recovery from that pain. People get stuck in the moment and they feel suicide is the only option. It's not. Suicide is never the solution to your problem. It is the problem. Suicidal ideations are the greatest liars. We know we don't have to listen to them. And our thoughts do not have to become our actions. They can simply be our thoughts. When you can recognize that, when you can know your thoughts don't have to become your actions, they can only be your thoughts, it opens you up to never acting on impulsive negative emotions. It opens you up to never attempting to take your life, no matter the pain you're in, because you literally look in the mirror and say, my thoughts don't have to become my actions. I don't have to do this. I can go choose to tell someone who loves me, someone who cares about me, a professional, a clergy person, a doctor, a clinician, anyone, 4 simple but very effective words. I need help now. And I fully recognize that it's not always the first to 10th person you turn to that's going to get your back, because not everybody is willing or able to empathize with that kind of pain. But by the probability of the number of people you decide, you make a cognitive decision to turn to, someone will get your back. How do I know that? 23 years of chronic thoughts of suicide, never attempted again. Because I look in the mirror, any mirror, and I say, my thoughts don't have to become my actions. And then I turn to anyone willing to listen to me, whether I know them from Adam or not. And I say, I need help now. And it's kept me alive for 23 years.
Incredible. I love it. And I was going to bring up the I need help now, because you hear that I need help, but the now is crucial.
Mm-hmm.
Right now.
Right now.
Right in this moment.
I can't wait for... Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, someone's going to say to you, what does that mean? And you say, well, I'm thinking of killing myself. And they're going to be like, whoa, I don't know what to do with that. But you'll find the right person if you continue to beg, plead, and ask for help that gets your back, so you can be safe that day. It doesn't always mean you go into the psych ward. Maybe it means that someone just sits next to you and hears you and loves on you and says, I got your back, and tell me your truth so I can be here for you. And by the way, what do you need from me in this moment? What can I do to help you?
I love that, giving examples of what you can say, because the conversation isn't something to avoid. It's something to address, like you're saying, immediately.
Yeah.
And allow yourself to be the person that could hear it. Allow yourself to be the person that can say, I don't know how to help you, but I'm not going to leave you.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah. Sometimes that person just needs a hug because they haven't gotten one in 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm curious what support looked like for you. So you have this incredible surgery, you're alive, and then what? What happens?
Yeah. I mean, initially a lot of going from a wheelchair to a walker to a back brace to a back brace and a cane, right into my first psych ward. A month in the psych ward, wearing my back brace and my cane, 6 or 7 months wearing the back brace and cane after that. And a great deal of physical pain, which I still go through on a daily basis. And it was at that kind of 7-month period after my attempt that Good Friday was rolling around. I'm a Catholic, and I get a call from the rectory of the grade school I attended, St. Cecilia's. And Father Michael Harriman, who confirmed me as a kid, would marry my wife and I later. He called and he said, "Hey, Kevin, how would you like to come and talk to our 7th and 8th grade class about your experience this Good Friday?" And I vividly remember saying, "Oh, Father, I don't have a speech. I wouldn't know what to say." And my father was like, "He'll do it." I was like, "What are you doing?" He goes, "You'll do it when you need closure." And I was like, "You need closure. I need to go home and lay down." But of course, I didn't say that out loud. He's 6'1" and I'm not. When I went on Good Friday, 7 months after my attempt, and I shared my initial story that I wrote 17 pages long, 45 minutes to read aloud, with 127th and 8th grade kids in the grade school uniforms I used to wear. And they're all sitting there cross-legged on the floor, eagerly awaiting my words. And I remember thinking, as I stood there with my back brace over my shirt, feeling really embarrassed, walking with my cane in my right hand, holding my speech in my left, dropping page by page to the floor as I read them, shaking and crying because it was so raw. Thinking to myself, who is this helping? What am I doing here? What a waste of our time. The speech ends. 8 hands go up. And I call on the first kid in the back, and he asked a very inappropriate question. And the nun was like, "Don't answer that." And I was like, I wasn't going to. And then 7 more intuitive, empowering, important, moving, intelligent questions. And I had made an impact. And I was like, holy shit. This works? That's what they meant when they said your words can help people? What are they? I had no idea. And to top that all off, I went home, and 2 weeks later, Father Harriman called me again, and he said, "Kevin, come to the rectory. I have something for you." And so I hike up 2 miles up this hill with my back brace and my cane. My dad was at work. I'm sweating through my back brace. I'm having an asthma attack. I sit down in Father Harriman's office. I take my inhaler, and he hands me a manila envelope with all these letters.
Today's episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. Every episode of Ivy Unleashed is dedicated to empowering you to take ownership of your health. And what it really comes down to is prioritizing your mental health.
We've both seen the beauty and growth that therapy can bring and are thrilled to partner with BetterHelp to allow you the opportunity to feel heard and seen by a professional. The National Alliance on Mental Health reports that 155 million people live in a designated mental health professional shortage area, and BetterHelp is working to close that gap.
I've personally used BetterHelp and loved it because it was all online, making it super convenient. The biggest piece for me was how affordable it is. I was able to choose the therapist that met my needs. I came in with wanting to work on childhood trauma and anxiety, and it was unbelievable to see how many options I had with all the different backgrounds of therapists.
With BetterHelp, you have access to a network of over 30,000 licensed and experienced therapists. Therapy is all about deepening your self-awareness. And sometimes we can't see our own patterns and behaviors until we talk them out and get an unbiased perspective.
It's really nice to have someone who doesn't know you and has the professional background to help you thrive in your daily life. It has made the world of a difference with every relationship in my life, including the one with myself.
To get started, all you have to do is fill out a brief questionnaire about your needs and preferences and choose your therapist out of the options they give you. You can talk to your therapist however you feel comfortable, whether it's via text, chat, phone, or video call. Also, you can switch therapists at no additional charge until you find the right fit for you.
The best investment you can make is in yourself. Get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/goldivy. That's betterhelp.com/goldivy.
Take the first step to inner peace and freedom today. Vulnerable story alert. This message is for any person struggling with the embarrassment of excessive underarm sweating and or underarm odor. I've never shared this before, so bear with me. I am a big sweater. I swear I sweat when I think. I used to carry deodorant in my purses, car, backpacks. I did not go anywhere without deodorant, and I applied it dozens of times a day. I haven't been able to wear colorful t-shirts, long sleeve shirts, or sweatshirts since I was 16 due to excessive underarm sweating. And recently, one of my armpits started to smell like onions anytime it sweat. See, I told you this is a vulnerable message, but I wanted to let you know about a treatment I found that has changed my life. This treatment is called miraDry and is for your underarms that greatly reduces sweating and odor. I have had one treatment so far, and I am a new woman. I can officially wear colored shirts without pit stains for the first time in decades, and my armpits no longer smell. I also no longer wear deodorant. I simply don't need it. miraDry uses thermal energy that targets and eliminates the sweat glands in your underarm. Let me repeat that. You just need 1 to 2 treatments. It is the only FDA-cleared treatment that can dramatically reduce underarm sweat by addressing the root cause of excessive sweat and its accompanying odor, not the symptoms. So if you're like me and have had to worry about pit stains from your sweat, excessive sweating even when resting, or planning your day around sweating, miraDry is your solution. Not only has miraDry erased my sweat problem, but also my armpit hair. I used to have to shave every single day. I am walking proof that miraDry works. Once the glands are eliminated, they will not grow back. I absolutely love my miraDry experience, and it was made affordable with a no-interest payment plan. You can find a clinic that provides miraDry all over the U.S., so head to miraDry.com to see where the closest location is for you, and don't wait another minute feeling embarrassed about your body. And they have these wonderful patient concierges who will answer all your underarm questions about the treatment. Thank you for letting me share this vulnerable information with you. I am walking proof that miraDry is a life-changing treatment. Nobody should be embarrassed about their bodies, period. And if you want more information, miraDry services will be linked in the show notes, and you can also message me directly to chat more about it. Now back to the show.
And there's 120 letters from 120 kids that were in attendance. Now, I'm no fool. They were mandated to write the letters. They didn't all get together and go, let's all write to the suicidal guy. But they wrote to me, and they were told to write to their heart's content. They were not given parameters on how they could express themselves, which was crucial, because they wrote their truth. They wrote their own stories. And 6 of those kids were actively suicidal. And they wrote it in their letters, and we got those letters screened by the teachers, and those kids got the help they needed. Oh. And 2 of those kids are now therapists.
Wow.
Oh, that's nuts. Can you imagine the impact you've had? Because you've talked all over the world, right? You've had, just even one video of you being on Ed Milet's show, millions of views. It's absolutely insane, the impact you've had. But being a follower of you, I wonder what that pressure is like, because like you said, you still have chronic thoughts of suicide, right? You still have your mental health battles you battle every day. So what's that pressure like to continue to share the story that impacts people when you're daily having your own struggles?
I don't look at it as pressure. I really look at it as a gift that I've been given to share words that people resonate with, that can have a tremendous effect on their lives. Mm-hmm. I don't believe that I am the reason that these people are surviving, although hundreds of thousands of people have written to me and said my story saved their life, whether it was from a viral video or it was from a speech or it was from my books. I'm not saving their life. I'm a conduit. I give a message. It hits. People go home. They do the work. They're saving their own life. They're giving me credit because that's easy, but they need to give themselves credit for putting in the time, the effort, the energy, and the work to say, no, I'm not going to take my life today. I'm going to ask for help. I'm going to beg for it. I'm going to plead for it. And I'm going to save myself. And it's incredibly humbling to get these letters from people saying these kind things. But I want people to take the credit for themselves and know that, yeah, they heard a message, but they made the decision, the cognitive decision to stay right here.
I'm curious how you've seen your impact affect men's mental health specifically, because we know the suicide rates for men specifically is terrible. So how have you seen your work specifically help men's mental health and share and get them the help they need?
Well, I've seen people start organizations after they saw me speak, and organizations for men's mental health. I've seen, I'm working on a documentary right now, talking in great part about the catastrophic amount of death by suicide in Guam, and how men over 40 who in large part can't provide for their families are taking their lives left and right. And we're relating it to the Pacific Islands all over the Pacific Islands, the CNMI Islands, Samoa, Tonga, and the Philippines, and how this is a very common silencing of pain. It's a very common indigenous related cultural silence. The film is called The Great Cultural Silence. And we're working on exposing this idea that why, if you can't afford to take care of your family, are you taking your life? Why are you not instead asking for help from all of the people that surround you? And how have we lost part of our culture and the way of the old, of pre-colonization, when the old ways were working, when the alcohol wasn't introduced to the family, when drugs weren't introduced to the family, when trade was done in bartering and not in finance. Like all of these things matter. They made a difference over time, and they affected generations of people, certainly in Guam and those expanding islands. And frankly, it's not being addressed enough. But there are foundations working with this documentary that we're making to close the gap and get people who have that belief system that if they can't provide, then they must die. That if they can't provide, instead of dying, they need to ask for help, so that the government of Guam or the other areas can get together and keep them safe, so their family can always have them near them, and so that they never die by their hands. And teaching all of these people that suicide is not the answer, it's the devastating problem. And here's what we can do to get you back to a safe place, back to working again, so you feel purpose and purposeful and fulfilled, and that just because you're in that dark space doesn't mean that that you should take your life. In fact, it means you should push that even that much harder to stay right here, because things can and will get better with hard work and time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think about that hard work and time piece, right? Because clearly you know what it's like to feel like you can't do that you have no other choice but to take your own life. And so I always I'm so fascinated by that moment of deciding, of taking the leap, of pulling the trigger. Like, it scares the living shit out of me because I know so many people that have done it. And I wonder about that moment of like, how can you flip it? How can you see past the pain? Like,
how do you see the light when there has been no light for so long?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's where the education about my thoughts don't have to become my actions comes in. Because if you know, so I've had so many people write me after expressing that in a talk, like, these are the two things you do every time you're suicidal. My thoughts don't have to become my actions, and I need help now. I've had so many, thousands of people say to me, my ethos used to be, when I was suicidal, attempt, go, do it. Now I catch myself. I use the techniques. I don't attempt. I ask for help. It doesn't always go well. I keep asking. Someone's always been there. I'll give you a prime example that is more concrete. So when I am in front of an audience and I'm telling my story, and I say to the audience, had any of you been there that day at this bridge, seeing 19-year-old young me standing on that walkway, leaning over that 4-foot-nothing rail, ease of access to lethal means, crying profusely my tears to the water below, how many of you would have cared? Everybody raises their hands. Everybody. Well, maybe not the smart ass kid who doesn't care, but everybody else. You're talking about thousands of people that raise their hand and say, I would have helped you. So by that alone, I know I'm never alone. And then you take it a step further, okay, and you basically go, if I said to all of you, if I was suicidal right here, right now, in front of these 5,000 people, and I said, I need help now, what would you do? And a resounding audience of 5,000 yells out, I would help you. It's immediate. It's instinctual. It's as real as the hands in front of my face. So our belief when you are in the suicidal moment that nobody cares and nobody would help you is completely a false narrative designed from suicidal ideation, the greatest liar we know. If we understand it's a lie, every time we get suicidal, we can get past it and stay right here.
Yeah, it's the idea of challenging your thoughts.
Yep.
And being educated to know that you can challenge your thoughts. And I was in such a depressive state and I didn't want to die, but I didn't want to live in pain anymore. And so it was educating myself, and it was learning about the beliefs and the thoughts and, educating myself with all of these people who have done it. And I think now more than ever, there is the education out there. There are people like you, other people that are sharing their stories, and you can see that glimmer. Yeah, you can see that glimmer of light and hope, but also to normalize that it's okay to struggle. You are still struggling. Kevin, in learning about you, we learned that you have bipolar disorder and you still need help. You need the support. You need the support. So what type of support are you getting now?
My best friend in the world is my wife, Margaret. And I fully recognize not everybody has a significant other that's got their back like this, but I didn't always have Margaret. I had, for a time, the feeling of complete abandonment from my family when I was in my halfway homes for the mentally ill. But when I did the work to get better, they came back in my life, and they have my back today, and they were there before that. We just had this grace period of like a hard time together because of my disease. Today, I have my therapist who I see through teletherapy, like this on a Zoom call. I have my wife, who's my biggest supporter. I have my mom and my dad who adopted me and made me their son. And they absolutely today have my back. My lovely sister, Elizabeth, who is going through all kinds of stuff herself, but when I call her, she's there. And when she calls me, I'm there. So here's my advice for folks that don't have a titanium steel support network. If you haven't been blessed with a great family or friends, there's always time to make them. Go to a social group, meet friends online, go to a friends group online, find a way to communicate with someone around you who's in a similar position as you, who's your peer, and be your own best advocates for each other, for yourself, And if you genuinely feel you have no one, then you have to stand up tall with your head up high and say, I'm going to be my own best advocate. I'm going to be my own best friend. I'm not going to let the woes of my situation destroy my life. I'm not going to let my pain defeat me. I'm going to let it build me brick by brick from the ground up until I'm stronger than ever. It's a matter of perception and perspective. If you perceive yourself to only be a victim in this life, that is all you will ever be, even if you've literally been a victim. If you perceive yourself to be the hero of your story, that is what you will be. That is the narrative you will follow, and you will thrive in this life.
You're such proof of that. From the moment you've been on the planet, you've been through hardship. And so I hardly know you, but I'm so proud of you for not allowing yourself to become a victim.
Yeah. I allowed it for a while. I'm not going to lie. I look at it like this. Pain is universal. Pain is inevitable. It's coming for all of us if it hasn't already. Suffering is optional. It's a choice. If you look at your life and you call yourself a sufferer, which is indicative of the clinical mental health narrative that they spread to you when you walk into a psychiatrist or psychologist's office. They say you're suffering from this and you're suffering from that. That's what they told me. I adopted that narrative. I became a sufferer, but that made me the victim of my own story until I recognized I could be the hero of it and that I could fight my struggles, live with my struggles, battle my struggles, and thrive despite of them. That's when I became the hero of my own story. Never was I a sufferer in my entire life. I was born and lived in and out of crack motels in abject poverty in the beginning of my life, but I've never suffered a day in it. I've been given a second chance at it. Perspective, perception. I'm not a victim. I refuse to be a victim.
I think it's the labeling that's damaging, right? Of
it
the
is.
sufferer.
It's a self-labeling though.
Mm-hmm.
We're given that labeling because the word exists and because people know what it means. And so if you're having a hard time, you must be suffering. But I completely shove that to the side. That's not my reality.
So what are your thoughts on labeling yourself of I'm a depressed person, I am my anxiety? You know, for me, it was I can't associate with that because otherwise that's what I become. And that's a repetitive cycle and a loop for me. So what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. So if you constantly say I am bipolar or I am depressed or I would say you have these things. Maybe I certainly have them. I am not them. I'm Kevin Hines. And I lived a life prior to bipolar disorder. And I've lived a life now with bipolar disorder, but it does not, will not, and cannot define me. I won't let it. I'm an artist. I'm a filmmaker. I'm a storyteller. Those are also labels, if you think about it. Man made those words up, but that's physically what I do every day. So I'm okay with that. But I'm not going to sit in this depression and go, I am it for the rest of my life. I'm going to fight to be well every single day. You know, it's fascinating when people get in that suicidal depression. You have to kind of go, all right, well, this literally is an option. It is for a lot of people. What about this? Everybody is going to die. We're all going to die. We haven't cracked the code to immortality. Give yourself time plus hard work for things to change. Time plus hard work for things to change. Everybody and their mama wants the uberification of their brain health and their fitness right now. They want to be like the most fit person, but they don't want to do the work. Mm-hmm. Like that's not how it exists. I mean, you know, even the people that do steroids have to do the work to get to look the way they do. It just helps them. Like, do the work fairly, honestly, put in the effort to change your life for the rest of your life. Read every book about mind, behavior, brain health, mental health, suicide prevention. Understand what it is you are going through so you can always defeat it. Get a Google alert on bipolar disorder if you have it. I do. I have one. I have one on bipolar disorder, mental health, suicide prevention, depression, anxiety. I get them all. They come. They flood my inbox. I don't care. Every Friday I get to that inbox and I read and I learn and I know all these new ways to benefit my brain. Because if I just sit here and do nothing but play video games and eat potato chips, sure, I'll end my life with chronic thoughts of suicide. But if I put in the effort and understand fully how to defeat the pain, I'll always survive. Mm-hmm. It's up to me. No one's going to save me but me. And that goes for everybody that's watching this or listening to this right now. You got to do the work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I always say you have to want to change. You have to want to feel good, right? I wanted it bad enough that I did the work. And I'm so glad you explained what that work could look like for people because I was going to ask. But what would you say for the friends, the family supporting these people that are going through the depressive episodes, the suicide ideation? What do you say to someone who doesn't want it, but they want to support them?
Yeah. So you've got the people that are struggling with these brain health issues and they are in complete denial of what they're going through. So a couple things. For all the people that love those people, get yourself the book, Loving Someone with Suicidal Thoughts. It'll change the way you see your loved one. It'll change the way you see their existence. It will help you reach them on a visceral level. It will help you get them to safety every time. Without judgment, without being harsh, without yelling at them. You will listen to understand, not to respond. Sometimes they don't need your advice. They just need you to put your arm over their shoulder and tell them you love them and tell them suicide's not the answer. Another thing you can do, which is very effective, is write a caring letter to your loved one. Caring letters were invented by Dr. Jerry Motto and his lovely wife. Dr. Motto has passed away. He's a good friend of mine. I was on a board with him years ago promoting the fight to raise the rail at the Golden Gate Bridge. And he created the caring letters. He was a VA hospital psychiatrist in the 70s, and he noticed that people were getting out of the psych ward and killing themselves. There was no follow-up after the psych ward stay. So, and in many places there still isn't. But Dr. Motto developed a technique of writing the people that would leave the psych ward, the veterans, letters every couple of weeks saying, hey, we're thinking about you. We're here for you. We love you. Whatever you need from us, you reach out to us anytime. We'll be here for you still and always. The group that got the caring letters never attempted again. The group that didn't, did. I don't understand why the government didn't immediately mandate caring letters across all VA systems, across every psych ward for civilians. I don't get why we haven't learned our lesson. They work. They absolutely work. So my suggestion to all the families out there listening and watching who have seen the incredible pain from their loved ones, maybe it's recovery from alcohol or drugs or both, or it's bipolar, it's schizophrenia, whatever it is. Get the family together, almost like an intervention. Write 3 to 5 caring letters from different people in that family or peer circle network or group of friends. Handwrite them. Don't type this stuff up. Handwrite it legibly and have it be comprised of 5 things. Your love for that person, your empathy for them, your compassion for what they're going through, your lack of judgment for their issues, and all the signs, symptoms, and triggers and warning issues you see with them that could lead them to suicide. Tell them the truth. Be honest. If 5 people send me a letter, and if you don't think they can read it, make it a voice memo on their phone. Easy to do these days. Record a video of you on FaceTime. I don't care how you do it. Figure it out. Make a video or make a letter with those 5 things. Love, empathy, compassion, lack of judgment, all the things you're worried about. If they get that from 5 people, they're going to know they have issues that they need to resolve. And what it does is, instead of telling them what they've got going on wrong, going in one ear and out the other, they see it or they read it and they know it, and they go ahead and they actually end up asking for help. It's amazing.
Oh, I am so grateful that you just walked us through that, because that's something everybody can do. Like you said, you gave multiple ways to do it too. And a lot of people, it's just what stops you from doing it is you feel like you're going to say the wrong thing, or you don't know how to do it. And it's just like, that doesn't need to stop you. And I think we just need to talk about this more. Like, I'm so happy you're here. I can't stop thinking about it. Like, I'm so happy you're here. I'm so happy you're here for so many reasons, but the fact that you're on our podcast saying these words that are so powerful, that are going to save lives, and just like beside myself. And I love that you're just walking around on the planet right now, that you keep doing this. You keep telling your story and saying these ways that can help. And we can all save people by doing those simple things. We do love people.
Yeah, I know. I want to make a shout out real quick. It's a new friend of mine named Johnny Crowder. who created Cope Notes, and it's a similar idea to caring letters that Jerry Motto created, but it's much more technologically sound in today's day and age, right? People get notes every day, or random notes, checking in on them, asking how they're doing, what they need from, it's really a fantastic effort, and something anybody can do for anybody else. You can go on copenotes.com and give them out to anybody who's in pain, and it's phenomenal. And Johnny Crowder is a rock star and a speaker, and he's the founder and CEO of Cope Notes. I just want to mention that because this is a concrete thing, besides the caring letters, that anyone can do for anyone else who needs to hear it. And it could absolutely save their life.
Yeah, what a beautiful gift you just shared. And we will share that in our show notes so everyone has access to it. It's, when you take the time to learn, you get these little nuggets that have the opportunity to help someone you love heal, to help yourself heal. So I just want to give everyone that's listening right now a shout out, because within that, you are doing the work of showing up today, hitting play on this podcast that is a very serious topic that scares a lot of people.
Yeah.
Well, one thing I'll say is if you're listening right now and you're in that position, you're the person who is suicidal, who's contemplating ending your life, stop. Take a breath. In 4, out 8. Do that 30 more times. Literally 30 deep breaths. You're meant to be here until your natural end. Suicide is not the answer. Look at it scientifically, okay? We each have a 1 in 400 trillionth of a chance of being birthed into this world. You are 1 in 400 trillion. You're meant to be here. You're not meant to be here to take your life. That's not your purpose. Find your why so you can find your how. That's it. Once you find your purpose, you can do anything. Anything besides suicide.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
We got some tears going on.
Over here. It's
something that if you are suicidal, if someone is, share this podcast with them. Repeat that last minute every single day, every hour, whatever you need. And ask those around you what Kevin said. I need help now. It doesn't make you weak. It doesn't make you a burden. I think that's, a lot of people don't want to ask help because they don't want to be a burden. What do you say to those people, Kevin?
Yeah. You are no burden. Your perceived burdensomeness is a part of delusional thinking. Even if you're hard to be around, you're not a burden. You're struggling. Everybody struggles. Anybody who tells you they never struggled in their life is a liar. Okay? Fight your pain to be here tomorrow and every day after that.
Amen. Remember, you are not your thoughts, and challenge those thoughts. Every day I fight back to my thoughts. They are overpowering. They are scary. They suck a lot of the times, but you have the power to fight back, and you don't have to believe every thought you have. I'm so happy you shared that, Kevin. Thank you.
Yeah. And Kevin, you have a lot of resources for people. You do a lot of work too for our military, and you've written books, you have a podcast. And so we really want everybody to know where to find you. So if they would love to find your work, your podcast, where could they find you?
Find me on social media at Kevin Hines Story. And my YouTube channel is youtube.com/Kevin Hines. 700 plus videos, all designed to better brain health. They're entertaining, they're fun, they're educational, they're good. And they help a lot of people. My podcast is Hindsight's Podcast, HINESIGHTS podcast, where we interview people from all walks of life who have survived terrible trauma and come out better because of it. My books, if you go to kevinhinesstory.com, you can find them on the shop. And we have wonderful merch shop there, kevinhinestory.com/shop. And we have a lot of great designs that when people wear them, everyone around them asks them what that means. Be Here Tomorrow shirts, it's okay to talk. It's okay not to be okay. They're all designed by my lovely wife, Margaret, and people love them, and they wear them to the gym, and they spark conversations that change lives.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. We'll plug everything in our show notes so that everybody can have access to you, because we need more of you in our life. And so one thing we always do in our show is we provide 3 gold stars for our listeners. So 3 takeaways that you would like to share.
Okay. 1, your thoughts don't have to become your actions. They can simply be your thoughts. Don't let your thoughts own, rule, and define what you do next. 2, when you need it, ask for it. I need help now. Don't stop asking for help until you get it. And 3, if you are in a desperate place of suicidal ideation, stop and breathe 30 deep breaths. Reverse your negative inner critical voice. Whatever the negative inner critical thought is, reverse it to the exact opposite positive immediately. Do it every time you're thinking these negative thoughts. Go to the mirror in your bathroom. If you are a self-loather and you self-loathe every day, listen, that didn't come from you. It came from every negative, spiteful, hateful, hurtful thing that's ever been said or done to you. Look in the mirror, reverse the thoughts. What we recite, what we repeat, that's what we believe. If you recite and repeat negative, hateful things, that's what you believe. If you recite and repeat positive, hopeful things, that's what you'll believe. Make a decision today to change your self-talk.
I love all this so much. Be your own hero. That's what I'm hearing you say is you have the ability to, and do it. So thank you. We just want to express our gratitude. We are so grateful that you took time out of your day. We know how important the work you do is, and you're all over the country, all over the world, doing amazing things. So thank you for being here with us, and thank you for sharing your message.
Thank you both for having me. I really appreciate it.
All right, Kevin, we have some rapid fire questions. This is our Unleashing Ivy segment. Are you ready?
Ready as I'll ever be.
Okay. My question is, if there's one thing someone could have said to you leading up to you jumping that could have prevented you from jumping, what would it have been?
Are you thinking of killing yourself? I would have told him the truth.
It's so powerful. I keep thinking too of how you wrote letters. Like you wrote letters, goodbye letters.
Yeah, I wrote one goodbye message to all my family and friends.
Wow. And that's not really my question, but I just, I'm so curious how that played out with those people, right? That you wrote them to, were you able to keep a relationship with the people that you wrote the letters to?
I mean, yeah, it was just one suicide note, and I addressed all of them in the note, and all of them are very close with me today.
Okay, that's amazing. All right, my question, and I think this is important to bring up because we kind of talked about, how you still have these thoughts, right? You still are addressing your mental health. And something from listening to your podcast you talk about is having paranoid delusions. And so you're having sounds or visions in your mind that everybody else can't see. And so I'm so curious how you get yourself through those where it just seems like such an extreme battle to have in your mind.
So I learned from a doctor friend of mine a technique that when I'm having paranoid delusions or hallucinations, auditory and visual, to grasp my hands together back and forth like this. Here, do it with me. Back and forth like this. And for those of you listening, I'm taking my palms, I'm connecting them, and I'm pressing them back and forth from side to side. I'm feeling the friction and the weight of my palms. Then I look down at my palms. I focus only on my hands and the pressure and the pain I experience from the pressure, because it can hurt after a while.
Mm-hmm.
I'm taking my mind away from the paranoid delusion, away from the hallucination, and simply focusing on my hands and the weight of each grip, right? Gripping my hands very tightly. You do that until you come out of the moment. You come out of the delusion. It tires out your hands, but it refocuses your mind into something physical. And it's an incredible way to break free from psychosis. that not too many people know about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you say that helps get you out of a panic attack as well?
It can. It's a grounding technique.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're doing that while doing your 4-8 breathing, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. I think about when I'm having a panic attack, it's what's 5 things I see? What do I feel under my feet? Really grounding you in the moment. But sometimes that's overwhelming too, is like looking around the room. And I really like that of just being where you are, focusing on one thing.
Yeah. Don't move. Just do your breathing and just focus on your hands. Look only at your hands. Everything else becomes like blinders.
Mm-hmm.
You can't see anything else.
Yeah, I love that.
Great.
Thank you for sharing.
Absolutely.
All right. And last question, Kevin. If you could go back and tell younger Kevin one thing, what would you tell him?
I would tell him to ask for help a lot earlier. I would tell him to not silence his pain, because it's only going to bubble, fester, and grow, and then it's going to burst. And it did. It did. I almost died because of it. Mm-hmm. Never again silence your pain. Your pain is valid. Your pain is worthy of my time and others, and your pain matters simply because you do. Never silence it. Always be bold in your truth. Always tell it. Always ask for help until you get it. You deserve it.
Man, our name is GOLDIVY because words are gold, and I've never felt more like that today. Like the words that you have said have been absolutely gold, and I can't wait for the world to hear this. I'm so happy that you spent time with us. I can't even put it in words. It makes me so emotional because it's literally saving lives. And I'm so happy that you survived and that all of those miracles happened, and that everybody hopefully today understands, like you said, that you are a walking miracle. So thank you so much for being here and for sharing your gold with us. And lastly, we share our piece of gold. So a quote that speaks to you.
Okay. Can I give 2?
Yes.
Give 5.
All right.
Don't stop talking.
Okay. Friends, just because you're in a world of pain today doesn't mean you won't get to have that beautiful tomorrow, but you have to be here to get there in the first place. So be here tomorrow. And finally, yesterday is history. Tomorrow is a mystery. Today is a gift. That is why we call it the present. And if y'all don't believe me, Master Oogway from Kung Fu Panda said that. And talking cartoon turtles always know what's up.
This is GOLDIVY signing off.
Listen to your truth and go chase your gold.